know, when people look at their wedding photos, they remember one of the happiest days of their lives. I have that. John and I had that. But John was really sick when we got married, and then he died. And you realize just how important that marriage license is to doctors, to hospitals, to lawyers.
When Jim Obergefell and John Arthur got married in 2013, John was dying from ALS. They married in Maryland, where same-sex marriage was legal, but when they returned to their home in Cincinnati, they discovered that Jim's name wouldn't appear as John's husband on his death certificate, since Ohio didn't recognize the marriage.
John and I were as married as any two people could be, but without that marriage license that every state would recognize, it just didn't matter. We didn't matter.
So they filed suit against the state of Ohio in a case that came to be known as Obergefell versus Hodges. The case ultimately asked whether all states should be required to license and recognize same-sex couples. And it made it all the way to the Supreme Court.
It's the most important gay rights ruling ever, and it's the culmination of decades of legal battles. It comes from a Supreme Court that just 30 years ago said gay people could be punished as criminals.
A huge cheer, then singing as the decision reaches the crowd out front. The historic ruling struck down the bans on same-sex marriage still in effect in 14 states, all of them in the South and the Midwest.
When the decision came down from the Supreme Court, everyone will remember where they were. Everyone. And I remember that I was at my desk at work. I started to cry, and I called my husband, and we were in shock.
Jim calls himself an accidental activist. He got involved in the movement originally to fight for what he knew was right, for himself and for John, who passed away in 2013. Jim knows that this fight is bigger than just his story. Today, he works as an advocate and a public speaker with groups like the Human Rights Campaign and Equality Ohio. He's won dozens of national and international awards for his work. And the book he co-authored on the case emphasizes the point he feels is most important, that love wins. Today, Jim continues to advocate for LGBT rights, knowing the fight is far from over.
And until every kid can grow up feeling safe, loved, and able to be who they are without fear and without apology, we have work to do.